Welcome to SF Commercial Property Conversations with Bruce Bean, where Bay Area investments meet expert insights. Get ready to unlock the strategies of commercial real estate success.
So today we have Morry Eghbal with us, which, Morry, you have a very interesting, intriguing story of getting to the U.S. from Iran and how you got into real estate. So I'd love to kind of have you go through that briefly, and then we'll talk about your Success Data business.
Sure. Thank you for your time, and thank you to all of your viewers and subscribers. My name is Morry. I was born in Iran. I'm 61 years old. When I was 18 years old, that was 2 years after the revolution in Iran. Remember 1979 revolution and all the hostage crisis and all that mess that was created. I wanted to pursue fine art. So in that pursuit, because there was no hope of anything like that in Iran, that environment, I escaped from Iran to Turkey. I wanted to go to Italy to study fine art. I got to Turkey after a nightmare of a 1 year planning and escaping from Iran, 7 days in the mountains, all that. In Turkey, I was drawing portraits, making $4 a day. From there, I ended up in Austria, and then I ended up in US as a refugee in 1983. That's about 42 years ago.
In LA, no less, at a
in
refugee
LA,
house.
Yes, in LA. I ended up in a boarding house. Half of it was refugees from different countries. The other half were criminals under 18 years old, juveniles, tattoos all over their body, everything, cuts and bruises, you name it. And I found myself in an interesting place. There was 20 people there, and I was one person in a room with sharing a room with some guy. If he would take his shirt off, there'd be nothing but cuts. Wow. There was the gang members. Yeah. So I started from there, and then I went to school, learned English, learned typesetting, learned clerical. In 1.5 years, I graduated. I worked as a typesetter in a financial area for about 3 years, and then somebody suggested I should get into real estate. But in the meanwhile, that I was working as a typesetter, I went to college to learn English and pursue fine art for about 3 years. Then I decided that will be a little bit difficult road for me to go to pursue it, to earn a living as an artist and all of that. I decided to get into real estate.
You were convinced by one of your fellow typesetters.
Yes. He said, you know what? Get into real estate. If it's difficult for you to finish the school, get into real estate, which is what I did. So in 1989, I got my California real estate license.
And you went to work for RE/MAX.
I worked for several offices, and RE/MAX was one of them. I was one of the RE/MAX top producing agents. The last year that I worked in RE/MAX was 3 years into it. That was 1992. I did about 90 transactions with RE/MAX.
Wow.
Then I decided to work for myself to be able to buy and fix and flip properties, basically become a fixer-upper. Right. That's what I did. And from all that experience in the sales training, all that, I was trained by Mike Ferry with so many other Roger Butcher guys who were real estate trainers at that time. I learned selling. Actually, I learned it very well in Turkey when I had to get somebody to pose for 20 minutes to get $1 from them.
Oh, wow.
It was just not long before that, you see. So that's not a problem. I got into real estate, and then I decided to fix and flip properties for many years.
Right. Then as things progressed along, you went into this world of probate.
I went to the world of probate. I wanted to find more areas where we could buy properties, and probate was very good. In 2008, we went to the real estate recession, and then so there was a lot of probate opportunities, a lot of REOs and foreclosure opportunities. 2012, that window was closing, was becoming difficult to find more properties. Banks were not as flexible as before. And so I looked to see where else can I find properties till somebody suggested why don't we look to see, okay, we know about probate, but that happens when they go to probate, file for probate. What if we can find them before there is a probate? Then we have less competition. That was the whole idea. So I looked and looked and looked. There was three of us. We thought about it, and then we said there's the only record of being able to ever put this thing together is going to be when somebody passes away. We can see if they own real estate. That was the only thought we had. For 10 months, we sat in an office. We copy and paste the obituaries from the online we could find, and then go to real estate site to see if they own real estate. Well, it was exhausting. 10 months of cut and paste, and so we had a list of about 1,000 owners who passed away in San Bernardino, Riverside, and basically in Southern California. Well, the 10 months into it, those other two, they decided that this is too much for them. They said, you know what, we don't want to deal with this thing no more. So I was left by myself.
Wow.
Then I decided, what can I do with this data? Okay, if I put so much time into it, maybe there's an opportunity where I can create the data and then sell it to somebody else who is in other areas.
Right.
And so in the process of that, then I had to learn how to create a database, all that, had to hire an engineer to be able, software engineer to create a website and put all of this thing together. Took 1 year, and then started in California. In my news, wrote an article about this business of some a startup is scouting obituaries in search of real estate. It was really very, very obnoxious, the article. They even put a crow's picture over like the dead bodies.
Oh, no.
Oh yeah, they did a great job for the, I think it was just a laughing stock. But a gentleman from New York contacted me. He said, look, I'm in charge of marketing for Century 21. Do you think you can create this data nationwide? I said, nationwide? Are you kidding me? He said, if you can create it, I will pitch this deal. We can sell it. I will help you to market it to our people in Century 21.
Wow.
I said, I'll call you when I got it done. I put a lot of effort to create the data. When it was all said and done, he just chickened out on me.
Wow.
I was left with nationwide data in my hand, and the guy nowhere to be found.
Oh, oh no.
So then I said, okay, well, then the gentleman who was writing the program, he said, look, you are now a nationwide data provider. We're not going to retreat back to California.
No way. Yeah.
That's it. You're out there.
Yeah.
But the things I learned, you see, I didn't have problems selling things. And at that time, I called this obituary lease, which was a disaster mistake. Bad idea. I was telling people where the data was coming. Then I had to explain, well, you have no problem with probate case filing. This is before that. This is pre-probate. Nevertheless, 10 months into it, I start thinking something is wrong, and I changed the name to Successors Data, and then took anything to do with death or deceased from the site out. I call it inheritance. You see, perception in marketing is a big deal, because how you come across is a big deal. To this day, I tell people never mention about somebody in your marketing piece that I am sorry about your loss, I want to buy that house. That only makes you an ambulance chaser. Right. You see, so you have to be sort of like a politician to know how to present the stuff, right? So Successor Data took off like a bird the next day, second year into the business, and it did very well. Along the way, people would call and ask, well, how about if we can find phone numbers for these people? How can we reach out to these people? And then I had to offer them more solution for direct mail, for skip tracing, for dialers, and even other sets of data.
So you started with basically the probate data, and then it kind of morphed into dialing data, and then it actually went further than that. Yes.
So Successor Data has to do with somebody passed away and owned real estate. At that time, 2012, it would take 1 minute to do a search on real estate sites. Today we do about 100,000 searches in about 3 hours.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So we've come all because of cloud power. We can compute data that fast.
All because of what?
Cloud power. Cloud
yeah.
power, because we can,
yeah.
there is 166 million records nationwide, every parcel. And what we're doing is that every week we compile a list of about 60 to 65,000 people who pass away every week. Out of this 65,000, we have a potential of about 200,000 matches. But
Wow.
then when it's all said and done, it comes down to about 14,000 records per week.
Oh my God. Wow.
That's about how many records of properties we can identify with 95% accuracy, and we call that successors data or inheritance records.
Right.
You see, today there are 3.4 million records of such properties in 4 categories: commercial, real, industrial, vacant land, and residential. But what most people don't know is that, well, I mean, when you look for a deal, ideally there's got to be a problem for you to capitalize on it, not in a bad way, but a foreclosure property, a distressed property. What is the definition of it, right? One has to do that somebody passed away and the family needs to liquidate the property.
So wait a minute. So do you also do foreclosures?
Yes.
Yeah. So not just probates or death, but foreclosure. And you get that information from the banks?
Okay, yes. So what happened is that Successor Data started in 2012. 2 years into it, we added probatelease.com. And then a year later, added the dialer, IQ dialer. I'll explain to you later on that. And then I was looking to see if we can get daily foreclosures. Daily foreclosure data is generated by a company called Black Knight, who purchased with ICE. This company was an $11 billion company. It takes 10,000 people nationwide to work to create the real estate data and update it every day. You're talking about 166 million records with 450 data fields. That is an enormous amount of work.
Whoa. Yeah, that's a lot.
Yes. So to create successor data, I had to use assessors data to search the names, all of that, to finish it. Then I decided, why don't I get the assessors data and then offer that data as well? Then I don't have to necessarily run that platform or pay for it. Then I was able to negotiate a deal with Black Knight and offer assessor data. With that data comes also foreclosure records.
Wow.
So all of this data, they were all different websites. And about 6 years ago, I started thinking, if Amazon can sell 500,000 products on one site, I should be able to sell about 6 different types in one site. Right?
Oh, wow.
Amazon was the model. In fact, our site is hosted by Amazon.
Oh, really?
Yes, Amazon is behind it, and their engineers work with ours to be able to help us to update the data. The site gets updated live with 166 million records every day.
Oh my gosh.
We don't bring it down to update. Everything is happening behind the scenes. Yes. So now you have. So if I were to look for commercial properties, one area I would look, which is hardly anybody in a commercial area knows about it, because we don't really. Most of our clients are about 90% are basically residential end users.
Right.
Residentials, the one who want to do fix and flip. But in successor data, we actually create commercial properties. Absolutely.
You create? What do you mean you create?
Well, we create them because we can identify a commercial property that the deceased individual owned as long as their name is on the title.
Okay.
See, on an entry level, you have somebody who bought a truck stop, who bought a 20-unit apartment building, but he put his name or a family trust as the ownership of it.
Right.
When he passes on, because we have his name on the title, we can detect that, we can find that property and depose them. Yes. Yeah. Just because he's got his name on the title. But in the cases that are more sophisticated, when they use LLC or corporations, we have no way of identifying that.
Oops, sorry. That's interesting. Oh, okay. So if it's a corporation or a LLC and it has no family name in it or whatever, then you can't track it down.
Yes, but with the advance in AI and things that we can do, where we can tap into open corporate and find out who is behind this LLC, or we have the mailing address of the deceased individual. Let's say somebody owns 10 properties and 2 of them are his name, 3 of them are not. But if the mailing address is the same, which is the tax bill address, and we can identify who is the officer behind that LLC or corporation, we can map those records and offer those records to our customers. That's going to come up in the next year or two. This is coming.
Yeah.
Because it's inevitable to happen. Today, what we do, we say if somebody passed away, let's say in San Diego, California, and somebody happened to live in New Jersey or inherit a property in Pennsylvania, and then he moved to Ohio for sometimes and bought a few pieces of land over there. Today, we are actually posting every property nationwide that an individual owned in his name in Successor Data. We do that because we can actually, but we couldn't do that 10 years ago. We couldn't do it 8 years ago because the search was so complicated and intensive that the databases couldn't handle that. So we do today.
Do you work with CoStar LoopNet at all?
No.
Yeah. That's a different database completely.
Yes. So now let's talk about I want to give you a little bit of insight about the assessor data, how we compile commercial properties and how we update them.
Perfect. Okay.
In a commercial, well, you have to realize that a property, a record of a property or a property profile consists of 3 or 4 different parts. It's like a car, but dashboard comes from one place, the windows come from another, the engine comes from another. All these pieces are put together, then you have a property profile. When a document gets recorded, recorder's office is the first place that generates that data as to do with the sale of a record, sale of a property.
That's public record.
That's right. And then we have assessor's data, is in charge of assessing the property. They're going to give us the assessment and characteristics of the property as to the structure, is it vacant land, how much is it worth, what's the square footage, all that. So now we got that piece coming from assessor's data.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
Then there is one more piece that we add to it, is that there's about, out of 160 million records nationwide, there's a table called open loan. Open loan has to do with 80 million parcels of the properties in the country that have an open mortgage on them.
Oh, okay.
So what open loan does is that, which is really incredible by itself, this table takes a piece of property and looks at them to say, is there an open TD on it? Yes. How many are they? When did they got that loan? What type of a loan it was? Who was the mortgage company on it? And then they will amortize that loan to today's date, and they say this loan was taken out for, let's say, $5 million in 1995 or 2004, and what is the remaining balance on it? And if they have the market evaluation on the property, on estimate of value, then they can tell us what is the percent equity on it, or loan to value ratio.
Right.
So now we have the assessor's data, we have the assessment and recorder's information, and the open loan. All of this becomes like over 100 data fields.
Oh, wow.
And so to make it easy, we will tell our customers, you can go create your data any way you want. Besides the fact that there is, for example, I was just checking right before our interview, out of the 166 million records that are on assessor data, there are 6 million commercial type properties.
Oh, wow. Okay.
6 million. So you can actually choose from the 6 million, then we have over 40 different categories of property, subcategories. So there is a difference between a commercial property that's a shopping mall or an apartment units that's 35 units or 40 units. All of this information is organized in one section. We call them assessor's data.
What?
Assessor's data.
Oh, assessor's data. Okay.
Yeah. Assessor's data then has all of these pieces in one place that the customer can go to a subscriber will go to Lead Cruncher, and they can access all of them. They can click the button, find out in Ohio how many vacant land or commercial property and all of that, and narrow down the search. Then you say, well, what else can we do to enhance this data? Well, you can enhance it by the loan type. You can enhance it by the deed type. Deed type is significant because you can find out the deed that is the executor's deed, or what was the reason behind that transfer, or even IT. IT has to do with somebody passed away, two people, three people on title became one. Half of them has to do with transferring a deed to themselves as one entity. We call it inner family. The other portion of it has to do with divorce. But think about it. Would divorce be a reason for somebody wanted to sell? Sure. People, I mean, for as many people as they file for divorce, that comes a lot of motivation to liquidate because of the distress that puts on a family.
Right.
So all of this is on assessor's data.
Wow.
Yes, you can even do something else. You can pick an area and on a map and say, okay, you put an address, it brings up the map, you put a circle or a square around it, and you say, break down this neighborhood for me. I want to know what is it made out of. It will instantly show the category, number of parcels, and you say, okay, I like to get all those apartment buildings on it. Can you just generate that list for me?
Wow.
It's very inexpensive. You can get this.
Wow.
There is another area that I think might be interesting for your subscribers to know is that today we can do this. We can take up to now, it was very difficult to skip trace. Well, let me give you a little bit of information about skip tracing. Skip tracing has to do with taking a mailing address of a property and a name and getting a potential phone and email addresses to the subject property. That whole industry has evolved tremendously in the past 7-8 years. Yeah. I mean, incredible. But we had a problem skip tracing LLC or corporations. Well, today we can. We can take a list of 100 properties that are owned in an LLC or corporation and have it skip trace where they go to open corporation and they will find out the officer, potentially hoping they can find a phone or email address for the officer of that entity.
Wow.
Now that is helpful because you can do that data very inexpensively. Just to give you an idea, you can get 10,000 records of commercial properties for $40. You can then just take that data to another section in a Lead Cruncher and upload it. The next day you have the phone numbers for it. That's 6 cents a record.
Wow.
So all of this is very inexpensive.
Yeah.
I can go on more and more, but I'd like to see if there's any area that you'd like me to explain better.
Well, so let's take an example. So let's say you're an agent in Los Angeles, say Santa Monica, and you say, hey, I want to find out all of the foreclosures and probates coming up. So you simply go to Lead Cruncher, and you put in your area, and you ask for either probates or both or whatever you want, and all of a sudden you're popped up. You get a list of potential clients out there. Does it include their phone number?
Very good. In the case of a probate case filing, some of them will have the executor or administrator's phone number.
Okay.
That data comes from the probate case filing. If they have it, it will come. In the case of successor data, pre-foreclosure data, or assessor data, that data doesn't come with phone number, but inside the site, you can take that data and upload it for skip tracing. It's an overnight service, costs you 6 cents a record to skip tracing. We call it advanced skip tracing. The data gets processed in the other side of the world. Believe it or not.
Yeah, right.
Actual people who process every record, they can do 10,000 records a day, 20,000 records a day without any problem. Wow. That will be the easiest way to be able to obtain information on an inheritance property. Somebody passed away, own real estate, how many properties they own, or a property that is in default or in foreclosure. You can actually, on a case of now, let me give you a little bit of insight on a foreclosure. Inside the section, we have pre-foreclosure data. There are now 1.6 million records today.
Right today, yeah.
Yes, on January, we had 1.1 million records.
Wow.
We went up 500,000 records in 10 months in foreclosure, in a notice of default, notice of trustee sale. Keep in mind, this data comes from every county in the country, every day.
Wow. So, okay, so let's go back to our example for a minute. So you get information offshore, it comes back to you, skip traced, and you have the phone number. Now, do you load that into your IQ dialer?
You can load it into IQ Dialer and call right through it. You can dial one number, two number, three numbers at a time. You can create sub accounts. You can get virtual numbers. If you don't want your own number to be tagged, you can do all of that through IQ Dial. Or there is a dialer inside the Lead Cruncher. You go to Twilio, you create an account with them, and you just pay for your phone minutes. Twilio is the phone provider, phone minute provider. It used to be calling cards, remember, a long time ago?
Oh,
People get calling.
Right.
Well, sort of like that, but no subscription for it. And then you can make your calls right from within Lead Cruncher. It's got a dialer inside.
So I'm curious, does Lead Cruncher have a virtual dialer? In other words, a virtual assistant that will call and do all the work up front?
No, you have to do it yourself. Or you can hire virtual assistant through Upwork, and most people do that, and for them to call. But I think that whole area is going to change in the next year or two.
Oh, yeah.
Because of AI, you will have people call you that they speak even 50 times better than I do. To be able to take you, get your information, ask questions, and you wouldn't even know you're talking to a robot.
Exactly.
It will be that polished, and it's coming. It is coming. Yeah. So, but at this point, you have to make the call yourself.
Right. Okay. But eventually, it's going to go to IA.
Another 2 years.
Yeah.
Another 2 years.
Yeah. No, I think there's companies out there developing that right now.
Yes.
So it's on the road. Well, all right. So I think we've covered enough territory for the moment. Is there something we missed here, Morry?
No, I think we're good.
Yeah.
We're good.
All right.
We're good.
So where can people get a hold of you if they want to get into this?
All they have to do is go to our site, Lead Cruncher. They can just register for an account. They don't need a credit card. Just register. Inside the platform, there are videos on the bottom of every section. The data sets, or 4 sets of data, is on the left side of the dashboard. It starts with Successors Data, 166 million records, 1.6 million pre-foreclosure records, 3.4 million inheritance or successor data. There's about 500,000 probate case filing. And then to the right, then we have other sets of data. Now, one thing that a technology that we developed a few years ago, people will call and say, I have this database of about 10,000 people. We've been calling them for almost a year or two. Do you have any way of us cleaning this database?
Ah, there you go.
Yeah, I said, well, we could, but give me a little bit of time. So it took about a year to figure out a process where we created a site called ownerverifier.com. The customer will upload a list of 1,000, 2,000, 100,000, 1 million records, and then we will return to them 4 files. We say this is sold, this is not verifiable, and this one is verified. Verified means that the ownership is intact. The person that you had as owner of the property still is in the ownership of the property. So we separated the data for them. Well, this went on for a few years. When we created Lead Cruncher, I gave the challenge to our programmers. I said, now, you see what we did there manually for the customers? I want you to make this thing just like a laundromat. Where they bring their data, they upload the data, and what the system does, first of all, it does actually a lot more than that. It goes to the post office, it cleans the address. It tells you this is the correct address. and then takes that address, thanks to post office. Then he goes to assessor's data and says, okay, I have this property. Do you have it? He said, yes. Who is the owner on this record? Oh, no, owner is not Tom Jones. Well, this is, for example, Maria Smith. Okay, then we're going to post this record for the customer and say this property is sold. At the same time, we can add other data fields. For example, we can tell them the equity on a property. We can tell them the other standard field, square footage, lot size, year built, assessed value, type of the property, when was the last time the property was sold, and then split the data into 4 parts for customers to get it. This feature is incredible. We have people who only use the site just for that. Just for that. Constantly, they clean up the data because you save money on direct marketing, direct mail marketing. Another thing I was going to suggest to you, there's a company called postcardcity.com. Postcardcity.com is specialized in real estate letters and postcards.
Oh, yeah.
They mail over 1 million pieces for our customers a year, letters and postcards. If somebody want to reach, for example, commercial property owners or any type like that, they can just get the data and then contact Postcard City. They know this data inside and out.
Wow.
And they can create your letter or marketing pieces and mail it for you as often as you want. On our site, Successors Data, they mail once a month to the heirs.
So it sounds like you have a variety of different levels where people can come in, but
yes.
What's the cost for your most popular program?
The data is on inheritance or probate case filings is $99 for 1,000 verified records. On assessor data or pre-foreclosure, $40 a month, they get 10,000 records a month, and it gets updated daily. For example, you can take all of California for $40 and say, give me the new records every day.
Right.
And the system, once the updates get the new records, first they eliminate the solds or the ones that can't receive a notice of cancellation, and then they send you an email saying, okay, you have new records waiting for you. Go ahead and grab it.
Wow. All right. Well, all you listeners that want to get this data, particularly I think for commercial real estate, this would be very valuable.
Yes.
So contact Morry right away.
Yes. Thank you.
So this has been very helpful. I look forward to talking to you again in the springtime, Morry, and seeing how things are going.
Thank you very much.
New AI things have come out at that point.
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
That's a wrap on today's journey through the SF commercial real estate scene. Ready to share your story? Visit sfcommercialconversations.com/guest. Your insights could lead the next conversation.